It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to your personal revolution.
Hi, everyone.
If you're, maybe in your 40s and you're feeling that sort of pull for something more, especially maybe in your relationships or just unlocking your own potential.
Then yeah, you've definitely landed in the right place.
Absolutely.
You're here to explore how you can really connect better with yourself first and then build those stronger, more fulfilling relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about grand gestures, right? It's more about understanding what makes us all tick.
It really is. I'm Biba Dura, and as a life and mindset coach, I see it all the time, how our own internal stuff, those beliefs we don't even realize we have, the emotional habits, they can be the biggest roadblocks, honestly, in creating the love and the life that you actually want. So my focus is really helping you spot those blocks and navigate through them.
And I'm Max. Working alongside B, my role is kind of bringing a practical angle to all this.
Mm-hmm.
I look at how we can use, let's say, clearer frameworks, tangible shifts in how you see things, really to build healthier connections and, unlock that personal growth we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like providing the actionable steps that really work hand in hand with B's insights into the why.
Exactly, because ultimately our mission working together here is to give you both the understanding and the practical tool.
Tools you can use.
Yes, tools you can actually use to, take charge, to actively shape your personal evolution, especially in how you relate to yourself and to other people.
We really believe that understanding your own mind, your own patterns, and the dynamics in your relationships, that's just key. It's fundamental to living a more empowered and, frankly, more joyful life.
It is.
It's about spotting those patterns, maybe ones you've been repeating, and then making conscious choices to do things differently.
So if you're ready to really dive into what it takes to build those stronger bonds and tap into your potential right now at this stage of life, then stick with us.
We're genuinely excited to explore these really important parts of personal growth with you.
Welcome, truly, to your personal revolution.
Okay, so just as we sort of close out this initial thought, maybe consider this. Your personal revolution, whether it's in relationships or just your own growth, it isn't really about finding some, perfect finish line.
That's such a good point. It's not. It's really an ongoing thing, right? A process of learning, changing, evolving.
Exactly.
So maybe just think about this. What's one small shift? Just one tiny change in how you think about yourself, maybe? Welcome to the deep dive. It feels like in our, really fast-paced lives, it's so common to want to just skip the hard feelings.
Oh, absolutely. It's almost a default setting sometimes.
Yeah, something feels tough, uncomfortable, painful even, and the instinct is just get past it, work through it fast, or just, don't think about it.
It makes sense on the surface. We want to feel better, move on. But what we consistently see in our work and just observing is that pushing those feelings away isn't just a quick fix.
It has deeper effects.
Over time, it can really sort of subtly shape how you act, what choices you make. You can even limit your growth without you really noticing.
Okay, so that's what we want to unpack today. Why does avoiding emotions become this kind of trap? What actually happens, in our minds and our bodies when we do that?
And crucially, how relating differently to those feelings, actually listening to them, might be the key to, more freedom, more connection.
Exactly. Let's dig in. So a core idea we often talk about is that emotions themselves aren't the enemy. They're more like signals.
Precisely. Think of them as information. They've evolved to tell us something important about what's going on inside us, our internal state, and also about what's happening around us in our environment.
Like little messengers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Messengers giving you updates. Pay attention here, or something needs adjusting.
And there's actual brain science behind this, isn't there? Where do these signals come from?
Primarily the limbic system. And a key part, is the amygdala. It's constantly scanning, assessing, especially for anything that feels like a threat. based on past experiences. It holds those emotional memories.
Okay, so the amygdala is like the alarm system.
A very quick, very efficient alarm system, yes.
So what happens in the brain if we, instead of listening to the alarm, we just try to shut it off, ignore it?
Well, that's where it gets interesting and, frankly, a bit problematic. Trying to suppress the emotion doesn't actually silence the signal. It tends to activate the body's stress response systems instead.
So you're still stressed, maybe even more so.
Exactly. The brain stays in this kind of low-grade or sometimes high-grade state of tension and on alert mode. And this chronic stress directly impacts the prefrontal cortex.
Which is the part we need for thinking clearly.
Right. Your rational thought, your planning, decision-making, impulse control, all that higher-level stuff. When it's constantly getting stress signals, it doesn't function optimally.
Wow. So avoiding the feeling actually makes it harder to think straight and make good choices.
That's what we see time and again. Unprocessed emotions, this constant internal alarm. It can lead to an overactive amygdala, seeing threats everywhere, and a less effective prefrontal cortex. So you're more likely to react impulsively, defensively.
Less likely to respond thoughtfully.
Yes. Less considered action, more knee-jerk reaction.
And this isn't just a head thing, is it? You mentioned the body's stress response. It affects us physically, too.
Oh, absolutely. It's deeply physical. You know the phrase that the body keeps the score? It really does. Chronic emotional suppression, that unresolved stress, it shows up in the body.
How so? Like what?
It can be chronic muscle tension. You know, those knots in your shoulders that never seem to go away. Headaches, digestive issues, problems sleeping, even impacting your immune system over time. The body is holding on to that unresolved energy.
That's quite a connection. Ignoring feelings can literally make you sick.
Well, it contributes significantly. Chronic stress is a major factor in so many health issues.
Yeah.
Depression, anxiety, yes, but also things like heart disease, autoimmune problems. The mind and body are absolutely linked. What you do with your emotions impacts your physical health.
And psychologically. What kinds of patterns tend to emerge when avoidance is the main strategy?
We often see unconscious patterns taking root. Beliefs and emotional responses, maybe learned very young, start running the show in the background.
Like old programming?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Without you realizing it, these patterns can quietly sabotage things. Maybe your relationships keep hitting the same wall, or you can't seem to reach certain goals. It's often because these old emotional drivers are dictating what feels safe or unsafe, keeping you stuck.
Preventing you from taking risks needed for growth.
Exactly. Limiting your world based on old feelings you haven't even looked at.
Okay, so if the costs are so high, mental, physical, relational, why do we do it? Why is avoidance such a go-to strategy?
It's usually learned. They're defense mechanisms. Things like denial, just refusing to see what's there,
Right.
or repression, pushing it down so you're not aware of it, rationalizing, making excuses.
Or even keeping busy, right? Perfectionism, addictions.
Absolutely. Those can be huge avoidance strategies. Overactivity, striving, numbing out. They all serve, initially perhaps, to protect us from overwhelming feelings, maybe from difficult childhoods or tough situations.
And maybe they even work for a little while. They get you through.
They can offer temporary relief, yes.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. But the long-term cost, as we've been saying, is often this growing gap between who you really are inside, how you really feel, and how you present yourself to the world.
A kind of internal conflict.
Right. Which can lead to feeling empty, frustrated, like something's missing. And it makes you less flexible emotionally. You can't adapt as well, can't learn from experiences easily because you're shutting down the feedback.
So let's recap those costs. If someone's listening and wondering, is this me? What are the big red flags of emotional avoidance?
Okay, well, first, your decision-making might feel off, less conscious. You find yourself making choices based on old fears, assumptions, or what you think you should do, rather than what you truly need or want.
Right, like you're not really steering the ship.
Exactly. Second, it really impacts relationships. If you can't be real about your feelings, connection stays superficial. It breeds mistrust, loneliness,
Right.
even if you're around people. Authenticity is key for intimacy.
Makes sense. Hard to connect deeply if you're hiding parts of yourself.
Definitely. Third, as we touched on, real health problems. That chronic stress taxes your body, your nervous system, hormones, immune system. It increases the risk for serious physical conditions down the line.
That physical burden we talked about?
And fourth, there's often a loss of authenticity and purpose. When you're disconnected from your emotional compass, you lose touch with your values, your passions. This can look like burnout, lack of motivation, feeling adrift.
Like you're not living your life.
Precisely. A feeling that something fundamental isn't aligned.
Okay, that's a sobering picture. But the good news is change is possible, right? It's not about getting rid of emotions, but learning to work with them differently.
Absolutely. It's about shifting that relationship.
Right.
And look, it takes courage. It takes practice. Often it takes support. But it's entirely possible to learn to face, feel, and integrate your emotions instead of constantly running from them.
So how do you start? What are some practical ways to begin changing that pattern?
Well, one really powerful tool is mindfulness. Just learning to observe your feelings without immediately reacting or judging, creating a little space.
Not getting swept away instantly.
Right. Becoming more of a conscious witness to your inner world. Another key area is working with the body. Somatic approaches, tuning into physical sensations. The body holds so much wisdom about our emotions, often before our mind even labels it.
Getting out of your head a bit.
Exactly. Then there's reflection and introspection, looking honestly at your patterns, your history. Where do these avoidance strategies come from? What beliefs are underneath? Understanding the roots helps you change them.
Becoming aware of the unconscious drivers.
Yes. And importantly, don't underestimate professional support. Therapy, coaching, even supportive groups. Having a safe space and guidance to process difficult feelings and learn new skills can be incredibly valuable. You don't have to do it alone.
That's really helpful. So if someone takes these steps, starts facing their feelings, what changes? What does life look like on the other side of avoidance?
It can be truly transformative. One big shift is in decision-making. You start choosing from a place of authentic need and desire, not old fears or programming. Your choices feel more solid, more you.
That sounds freeing.
It is. Another is deeper relationships. When you can be more emotionally honest and present, you build genuine trust and intimacy. Connections become richer, more meaningful.
Because you're actually showing up.
Fully. You also develop greater psychological resilience. Difficult emotions don't feel like catastrophes anymore. You see them as information, learn from them, trust you can handle them. They become resources, not threats.
Shifting from enemies to maybe challenging guides?
Something like that, yes. And ultimately, many people find a profound sense of inner freedom and peace. Less energy wasted on fighting yourself, more energy for living in alignment with who you are, less internal conflict.
So, wrapping this up, the core message seems pretty clear. Avoiding difficult feelings might feel easier in the moment, but it's a trap that ultimately limits our lives, our joy, our connections.
Right. And seeing emotions not as problems, but as vital information. That shift in perspective is key to building a more conscious, fulfilling life.
It definitely takes courage to turn towards those feelings instead of away. It's not always comfortable, but it sounds like that willingness is really the pathway to genuine transformation and freedom.
It really leaves you with a question to ponder, doesn't it? Is that temporary comfort of avoidance really worth the long-term cost? The cost of disconnecting from yourself, limiting your potential?
Think about it. What hidden choices might you be making day to day simply because you're trying not to feel something difficult?
That's something worth
So we often hear from you, right, about reaching that point where you just, you sense there's something more, that feeling.
Yeah, like you're capable of breaking through something.
Yeah.
And honestly, from everything we've seen guiding people, that feeling, it's usually spot on.
Absolutely. There's this incredible potential inside everyone, and it often just starts with acknowledging, okay, I'm ready to move past this thing that feels limiting.
And what's really interesting is that those limits, they are always these, huge concrete walls. Sometimes it's more subtle.
Like habits of thinking.
Exactly. Or emotional patterns that maybe keep you going in circles. The real key, we find, is sort of bringing those unconscious things into the light.
Right. Creating space for something new by seeing the old patterns. And, guiding people through this, the biggest hurdle isn't always the big change itself. It's often just getting started.
That first step, it's shifting from just wanting it to, well, actively doing something about it.
Yeah, making that conscious choice to actually engage with those maybe emotional blocks or beliefs.
And look, if you're feeling that readiness, if this conversation resonates and you're thinking, okay, I want to take that step, we've actually designed something specific for this.
We have. It's a focused experience we're calling Your Personal Revolution.
Think of it as a dedicated pathway, a way to really begin that process of breaking free,
Mm-hmm. And over 7 days, the main goal really is to help you start identifying and understanding those emotional blockages.
Yeah, and the limiting beliefs, too, that might be holding you back from, feeling the way you actually want to feel deep down.
It's about kicking off a genuine shift, starting that deeper transformation inside.
When it's practical. That's important.
Wow.
Each day you get a specific task. It's not just theory.
No vague ideas. These are actionable things, exercises designed to boost your self-awareness.
Right, and connect you with what really feels authentic for you.
So the real value here, it's about actively participating in your own emotional transformation day by day.
You'll be taking concrete steps, little by little, to understand and work through whatever feels stuck.
And to help you with that, especially in this initial phase, we've put together some specialized tools.
Yeah, and inspiring materials, too, things drawn from our experience and work. It's all structured, step by step.
So you can navigate it without feeling, completely overwhelmed by it all.
Exactly.
And we really believe that this kind of opportunity, this chance to initiate real personal change, it should be accessible to anyone who feels that pull towards growth.
Absolutely. Which is why we wanted to offer this Your Personal Revolution Challenge with a name your price approach.
Meaning you decide. You decide the value you want to place on this 7-day experience.
Based on what feels right for you, what fits your situation right now, and I guess your commitment level to starting this journey.
It puts you in control right from the start.
Yeah. You're in the driver's seat.
So if this is speaking to you, if you're feeling that inner nudge towards something more, and you feel ready to take that really crucial first step, you can find all the details, everything you need to know about how to join the 7-day Your Personal Revolution. It's all available via the link in our profile description.
We genuinely believe in your potential for positive change. We see it all the time.
We do.
Consider this an invitation, really. An invitation to start exploring that potential within you.
And to begin creating that emotional freedom you're looking for. It's possible.
It really is. Just take that first step.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.